What is the most annoying thing about being married? Tell me what's the most annoying thing about being married. What's the most annoying thing about being married? Go ahead, you can say.
My wife is watching this.
Go easy.
How many years in the CIA before you see an ambush?
You three are married. I don't think Gerard and I can answer this one.
Let me ask you. When you were married,
I was briefly married.
What's the most annoying thing about being married? What's the most annoying thing
My
about
response is not going to be as mature as your response.
Well, then give it to me. Go ahead.
She wouldn't let me go out and party with
Okay.
It's like, what? Married.
But by the way, that is one of the annoying
But just
things.
let me go do my thing.
Yeah, let me
What
go
do you mean?
do
It's
my
our
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
I gotta tell you, I've never been married, but my ex was about as close as it got. And you don't marry her, you marry the whole family. Her family.
That's true.
So awful.
By the way,
God.
absolute,
Yes.
very good point. Because when you do marry
Her
a
sister
family,
was the worst human being. I don't even know if her sister.
Gerard, look in that camera right now. Talk to that stupid
Oh
bitch
my
right now.
God!
What is the most annoying thing?
She's like a human. It's like they took ashtrays. They took the ashes from a cigarette tray and somehow animated it into a human being. This is soulless, decrepit human being. Your sister is.
Oh my!
At least you're not still hung up on it. That's good.
Yeah.
So when you think about single guys that want to get married, what's the biggest thing that happens a week before guys going to get married? What do you hear about?
Go to your bachelor party or
No,
something?
no. But what you hear about guys having anxiety attacks, guys having like panic attacks, going to their buddies, telling what you do. I don't know if is this it. I don't know if I'm ready. Like the whole runaway bride. There's a lot of runaway grooms. Runaway.
I don't want to out you guys here. I mean, but one woman for the rest of your life is tough. That's a tough. Betting half of your salary against. Betting half of your entire wealth against
Gerard just went Vegas. Okay, so it's all odds. Here's what we're doing.
That's what single
I don't
guys
think
say.
the word-
against your hormones.
Hang on, guys. David, the voice of God, has got something to say. Tell us, David. What's the reason? Go
That's
ahead.
what single guys say. What Gerard just said.
What's up?
It's what single guys say.
Yeah, you
I'm
give
just
her
saying,
half of your wealth. It's about spending the rest of your life with the person you love.
With that
Jesus
voice.
Christ, David.
With that voice, David. No, but you know what it is? Here's what it is.
Tell us,
Okay,
Pat.
here's what it is. Just think about it. Number one, it's the R word. What is the R word? Maybe one of the most
Responsibility?
responsibility sucks. It's annoying, right? I don't want it. It's the A word. What's the A word?
Accountability.
Accountability sucks. It's the C word. What's the C word?
We can't say that.
Commitment. Commitment sucks. Okay, so those three things. It's
Is
like,
there a D word?
Yeah.
but
She didn't hear it
Yeah.
from me.
Exactly.
So-
Is there an F word that only happens once a month? What is the deal?
But the point is, you got those three things: responsibility, accountability, commitment. Those three things are annoying. Anything big you ever do in your life requires all those three things,
Yeah.
and it sucks.
exactly
It doesn't matter what you're doing. You want to be in shape, you want to work out, you want to win a championship, you want to get your Super Bowl ring, you want to be a millionaire, you want to be a billionaire, you want to make it on a list, you want to build a big church, you want to be, 80% human trafficking, raising $1 billion the next 20 years and doing what you're doing. Any of that stuff requires. You have to be responsible to your diet if you want to be in shape. You have to be accountable to a trainer. You have to be committed to show up at 6 o'clock. It absolutely sucks. But on the other end of it, holy freaking moly. On the other end of it is that visual of you're at a school, kid is graduating, you see your son, your daughter, and you have that moment together on all the things you overcame. Those things are priceless. That's what makes relationships unique. That's what makes marriage unique. That's what makes friendships, relationships. There's something about it. So those three most annoying words in the world: responsibility, accountability, and commitment.
I will say, all of the most successful men I know in life, in business, in sports, all dutifully married. Dutifully married.
Well, here's my question. Would you get married if there were no kids involved? Would you just be a married couple, no kids?
So I'll give you
Hypothetical question,
So I
but-
listened. We were talking about this the other night at the house, right? We were up till God knows what time that night. We were strategizing. Phenomenal session that day. We had nice cigars, we had nice drinks, we had everything, except we didn't have cutters and lighters, which is I don't know how you get cigars without cutters and lighters, but it is what it is. One of the podcasts I was listening to, weirdest podcast I listened to, but it was absolutely I couldn't stop listening to it. Okay, the podcast had 4 people there. One guy who's single, who doesn't believe in God, doesn't go to church, atheist, who thinks you need to be promiscuous. And he's left and right going out there and hooking up. He says, that's what you need to do. Swipe right every day. Why not? Get it out of your system. The second one is a newlywed who doesn't want to have kids. And all they want to do is the rest of their lives, they just want to be together. They don't want to have kids, right?
Makes no sense.
Another one is in their 40s, they have kids. kids are, high school about to go to college and they're going through struggles. And another couple that was there was a Christian pastor that was married. They're in their 60s and they're going through all this stuff. So the young guy's talking about sex, all this stuff. The middle husband and wife are talking about, well, we got to get our connection to be better in this area and that area. Everybody's telling their issues, right? And then a 60-something-year-old says, look, when I was younger, I thought marriage was just about kids. I thought marriage was just about this. He says, wait till you're married, and then your wife has to have a surgery that you can't have sex for 6 months. Your marriage will be tested, and that's what happened to us. And I had the biggest fights with my wife and this and this and that, and it was the worst thing. But you know what happened 2 years later? 2 years later, I couldn't get it up. He's saying this on the podcast. He says, now try facing your wife, and every time you're in the bedroom, you're like, oh, babe, it's... I drank too much, or I'm sorry, it was a bad day. I didn't have enough pineapple, or whatever excuses you're gonna make. You're like, and then you try to change the subject. You want to go to dinner together? You want to go? It's awkward. And he's telling the story, and he says, but as you get older, you're gonna realize companionship is very important. Once kids are gone, everybody else gone. The last thing you're gonna fear is in your 60s, 70s is being by yourself in a house. And if you can get a 28-year-old come to your house, you can get a 32-year-old come to your house. But what is the depth of that relationship? Yesterday we talked about how do you measure a successful marriage and business? How do you measure a successful marriage and business? What is it? Is it how many employees you got? Is it how much money you make? And the way you measure a successful business or marriage is what? Depth and duration. How many of you guys know people that have been married for 50 years and are miserable? I know a lot of people. We talk about one of the people that are married and not happy together, right? And the other one is depth. You see depth, you see a business. We've been around for 100 years, but we only make $100,000 a year. Well, we've been around for 100 years, but we have 17,000 employees and we have a legacy of this, that, right? So to me, there's a little bit of both. Yeah, this is
It's like the Matt Zapala thing.
By the
Go
way-
wide, go deep.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.